So let's go to this issue. Will the case be reduced or even dismissed right now? Joining us, attorney Richard Roth and defense attorney Dwane Cates. Dwane Cates, go to you. Take a stab on that. Dismissal, release. What's the next step here in your judgment?
Well, I mean, the first step is I like to see the fact that the prosecution is acknowledging that they have some weakness and they're willing to reduce his release conditions. I mean, that's a stand-up job on part of the prosecution. Now, we don't know what they know, so we don't know exactly what the weaknesses are. We know there's some problems with their credibility. I don't know that he'll be willing to take a plea bargain, so I don't know if reducing the charges is going to do any good or not. I believe that at some point that this case will be dismissed. I think the prosecution needs to take a look at a couple things, and probably within a week or two, they're going to have to make some hard decisions.
Richard, you agree with that?
Yeah, this is a remarkable twist on a trial that has international implications. And what's happened here is not just that that's a he said, she said, that now there's holes in her in other facets of her life, but what she said, as has been reported, may very well lead to criminal implications for her, for the victim. So if, in fact, she has to take the Fifth Amendment, then what's going to happen here is there is not a he said, she said. It's a nothing said, he said. And it may very well result in, remarkably, a dismissal of the charges against Strauss Kahn.
But Dwane, just coming back, I mean, from the DNA, do we not know there was sex in the room? Okay, that's just, let me reestablish that. Or is that now a subject to new questioning?
Well, I believe that there is DNA evidence and that there was sex, and I believe Mr. Kahn has said from the very beginning that it was a consensual sex and there would be absolutely no evidence of any kind of force in this case. So, but you know what? Consensual sex between adults in the United States is not a crime, and I don't think that's enough to keep going forward.
But Richard, if she has all these holes in her past, it's still possible she was raped, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question it's possible she was raped. The problem is that the DNA evidence has to be so overwhelming that it has to actually show that there was a crime committed, which is tough without someone speaking about it. That's
Richard,
the problem here.
Walk me through that. In the past cases, okay, you're the expert, certainly not me. How would that work? How would DNA be able to allow it to be ascertained who did what to whom?
Well, you have DNA, you have nail scratches, you have DNA in your fingernails, you have DNA in the groin area, there's DNA all over the place, and what you do is you put the victim on the stand, and the victim will go through exactly what she says happened in the hotel room. The problem is that if, in fact, she has these pretty large, what seem to be lies in her asylum application, in her questioning by the investigators, then the cross-examiner was going to have a plethora of evidence to pop holes in her story. And on top of that, that if in fact she testifies as to on the cross-examination issues, she may very well herself be facing criminal charges. So there's a big decision to be made here by her and by the prosecutor. And if she takes the Fifth Amendment, then all you have is DNA evidence. You have DNA in the nails, you have DNA in the groin area, but what does that mean? There may have been sex, but was there a crime? That's the ultimate question here.
So, Dwane, it sounds like if she doesn't take the stand, it's all over.
It is. I mean, on DNA alone, you can't convict somebody. All you can prove is that there was a sex. I mean, you know, they can even determine if the DNA comes from semen or whatever. So they can actually determine whether there was a sex act. But again, a sex act is not per se illegal. They have to prove that there was no consent or that there was some sort of force. And I don't believe they can even come close to doing that without the victim on the stand testifying and being credible.
All right, stick around, everyone. We want to take a quick commercial break. We are all over the Dwane Strauss Kahn story.